it's Caitlin. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my 2019 NaNoWriMo daily vlogs. Today is day 20. That's right, we have got 10 days left. I am up to 35,250 words. I've not been good about updating in my videos about what my word counts are. Also not good about updating my official NaNoWriMo page, but I digress. I have 35,250 words. So I'm feeling pretty good. I am definitely on track to finish as long as I keep up, and I think I'm gonna keep up. If you've seen my last couple of videos, I've kind of been a mess. And I feel like I'm starting to come out of that and kind of pick up momentum again. It helps that I'm in a really interesting spot in my story. I also realized I haven't really talked about the story itself. I've been like super mysterious about it. I'm like, when I get it published at some point, I don't really say anything. But you know what? This one really wants to copy what I'm writing. Like, y'all have fun. It's gonna be different either way. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what's going on in my book. My story is a retelling of the Six Swans, which is a Grimm fairy tale. There's been a lot of iterations of it throughout the years. Cultures have their own takes on it. It's sometimes 7 swans, sometimes it's 3 ravens. It's been told a couple different ways, but it's not a very well-known fairy tale. So I thought that today I would tell you a little bit about the story that my story is based on, and then tell you a little bit about how the story is tied together. Basically, the story is about a king who remarries, as they are wont to do in fairy tales, and the new wife doesn't like her stepchildren. She has 7 stepkids, 1 daughter, and 6 sons. And she turns the 6 sons into swans, and some variants it's ravens, and sometimes there's different numbers of boys. But in any case, she makes these magical shirts and puts them on the boys' backs. They instantly turn into birds and fly away. And she tells the sister, you can save your brothers if you make shirts for them out of nettles and you sew them together, and you have to not speak for 6 years. At the end of the 6 years, put the shirts on your brothers and they're gonna turn back into humans. Casually, as one does. So the girl upholds her end of the bargain and she starts making these shirts out of nettles, and she doesn't speak at all. And through a series of circumstances, a king falls in love with her, because of course he does. And he marries her even though she doesn't speak, and she keeps making these shirts made out of plants. And then they have a baby. And through a series of circumstances, the stepmother is still interfering. In some cases, it's not a stepmother. In some versions of the story, it's just a random witch who decides she doesn't like these kids. I digress. The sister is about to be burned at the stake, but it is the end of the 6 years. And so she is able to give the shirts to her brothers, and they all turn back into humans, and she's able to speak again. And she's able to tell the king, it wasn't my fault. It was this crazy lady who turned my brother into birds, and I made these plant shirts, and now I can talk. And they all live happily ever after, except in most versions, one of the brothers, she doesn't finish the shirt completely, and she has one sleeve that's not finished, and so one brother is left with one wing for the rest of his life. Like, he's all human, and then he's got a wing. Initially, I wasn't sure if I wanted to make Lucy's story a series of retellings. I had basically a couple different ideas that came together and kind of became what Lucy is now. The first book initially was going to be more Cinderella based, and then I realized, ooh, if I move Cinderella later, I can tell this story now to kind of get things started and get the ball rolling. Balls, because, you know, Cinderella danced at one. And the Six Swans really appealed to me with what I wanted to tell with Lucy, because the idea of trying to break a spell in secret without telling anyone what's happening really matched what I wanted to tell with Lucy's story in the beginning, especially since she doesn't realize how much she needs to be involved with magic as things go on. I also realized that a lot of this situation would really be funny. Because think about it, the spell gets started because a witch made a shirt and put it on a bird, and then, or put it on a human, and then the human became a bird. That's already comedic. Like, can you imagine these guys just standing around, all 6 of them in a row, and this witch is basically like, yeet, and tosses these shirts and it lands on these teenage boys, and then they're like, oh my God, I'm a bird. Like, that's already a great mental picture. And then you've got this girl who's like, all right, if I make these shirts and not speak for 6 years, I can save my brothers. So homegirl is sitting there with plants, and in most versions it's nettles, which a lot of versions of nettles are really painful when you touch them. And then she has to make that into a shirt. Now I sew a lot. If you've gone on my blog, you might have seen a lot of my sewing projects, my costuming projects, things like that. Sewing is not an easy task, especially shirts. So this girl's having to basically sew these plants together and somehow put it into the shape of a shirt, and she has to do 6 of them. Now Lucy is only having to make 1 shirt. There's only 1 person turned into a bird at the moment. We'll get to that. I've got Lucy like sitting there literally with handfuls of plants like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know, because like Lucy's like really good at embroidery because like #fancy lady problems. She's like, how do I make this a shirt? And then when you want to break this spell, you gotta get this bird, you gotta catch this bird, and you gotta put a shirt on it. And I literally have Nell and Lucy debating. They're like, what size shirt should this be? Is this a human shirt? This is a bird shirt? I've never made a shirt for birds before. And Lucy's like, I haven't either. Like, they're just arguing about it. So I really liked how I could pull the comedy into it through this basic idea, because when you read the fairy tale, you're like, oh yes, this sounds correct. But when you break it down, you're like, hold on, she's doing what? And that's where Lucy and Nell are at the moment. They have snuck away from the harvest ball. They are trying to put a shirt on a bird. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm really excited to see how the other pieces of the fairy tale are going to tie into Lucy's story from here. I'm really happy with my outline and how things are falling into place. I do have some gaps that I want to fill, things that I want to set up better, things that I want to make a little bit more clear. But I've been making the notes as I go along, and it's gonna be quite a revision process. First of all, there's no way I'm gonna get the whole book done in November. Like, there's no way. I'll probably, what I'm guessing, like based on my trajectory here, I am going to write more than 50,000 words this month, which is honestly mind-boggling. However, this book is probably gonna end up around 80,000 words, possibly more. It probably is gonna end up in like the 100,000 range, and then I'm gonna edit the crap out of it because there's a lot of nonsense that I need to clean up in there, let's be real. So it'll probably be November, December, maybe into January, I finish it, let it sit, and then February I'm gonna pick it up and really clean it and revise it and add in the pieces that I want, and then I'll be able to send it to my betas, which, well, I guess they're technically my alphas. They're my #1 squad. I have 4 people that I send my work to, which that's a whole other video, but they're basically the friends that have been looking over my writing for years. I may be looking for a beta squad later on as I do more edits, so let me know if you're interested. I'll keep you in mind, because when we get there, I'm dreaming about getting to that point. I'll probably do a video like seriously calling for betas, but y'all be the first people that I'm like, guess what, it's ready for a beta. Anyway, that is the story that I'm working with. That is where I am right now. I'm having a really good time with it. The things have really picked up. I am feeling more like a human being now. I'm still stuffed up, as you can probably hear in my voice, but I'm not quite as foggy as when you get sick, your brain's just like, I feel like I'm on the other side of my burnout. I feel like things are clicking again, and I feel like I'm really getting into the story, and it's making a huge difference. I think the first part needs a lot of edits, especially the parts where my brain has been kind of foggy, because I think it shows in my writing when I wasn't feeling 100%. But for now, things are going really great, and I'm actually gonna do some writing now before I drive to the board meeting for the 2nd time in the last 24 hours. Which you saw yesterday's video. You know what I'm talking about. So thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. All my social media is in the info box below. And I have a question for you. What is your favorite fairy tale, or your favorite fairy tale retelling? That's what I was going for. Fairy tale retelling is the worst phrase. Oh my God, I need to come up with a new version of that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all tomorrow for day 21. Bye.